St. Mark was growing, and the new sanctuary built in 1953 was not going to hold them much longer.
We grew even more, and we needed more classrooms. So we started a building fund to build the present sanctuary.
An expansion was planned in 2 stages. First, additional classrooms, bathrooms, and kitchen. Then second, a new sanctuary, entrance lobby, and nursery.
And in 1969, we dedicated it. Also, in 1968, I was honored to be the first female councilperson of St. Mark. It was an honor to be chosen, and I also served as secretary during those 3 years.
In 1970, Reverend Kenneth Strecker became the 10th pastor, followed by Reverend Carl Hansen in 1972 as the 11th pastor. In 1972, the trend was for pastors to own their own homes, and the second parsonage was sold. The first parsonage, now the youth house, was torn down.
I was a youth sponsor from 1975 to a little after 1995. Basically, Sue Stroud and myself were sponsors for the junior high for that time period. We really didn't have a full-time youth director at that time, so we would sponsor and hold a meeting at least once a month, and we had various activities. The first were ski trips. In January, we'd take a trip up to Minnesota for our junior high and our senior high, and we would go skiing one day at Afton Alps and then the next day at Welch Village.
In 1976, the church's baptized membership was 1,140, with 789 confirmed, 665 active, and 728 taking communion. In March 1977, the 12th pastor of St. Mark, James Lesher, was installed. In 1982, Bill Fletcher became the first lay president of the church council. It had been the pastor up until that point. In 1983, the youth began plans for a youth lounge, and a VCR was purchased.
My husband and I, he was Gene Ehlert, joined here in 1968. He was especially active in working with the youth. He taught 5th grade Sunday school and Wednesday night Club 56. He absolutely loved those young people. In 1983, we had our first female council president, and I was privileged to be that person. I learned a great deal during my 2 years on council.
In 1987, Eric Lesher was ordained at St. Mark. At this time, it became apparent that St. Mark's growing staff needed more space, and a proposal was put forth to build more office space, more classrooms, and a larger entrance facing east. The LIFT program was proposed to help fund the St. Mark renovations and to provide support for the 100 mission churches, just as St. Mark had received mission support when first building the church on Grand Avenue. And so St. Mark continued to grow.